Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial. In this video, we're going to be seeing how to install MeTTa on Windows. So currently there is only one option to install MeTTa on Windows, which is through the WSL or Windows Subsystem for Linux. So before we begin, we need to make sure that feature is enabled on your Windows operating system. So type in your search bar, Windows features, and click on the one that says turn Windows features on or off. Then look for an option named WSL Windows Subsystem for Linux, which should be around the end, and make sure it's enabled. In my case, it's already enabled since the checkbox is checked. So make sure to do that and click OK. So after that, what you need to do is open PowerShell, which you can do so by typing in the search bar PowerShell, and then start working on. So the first thing we need to do is run the command WSL-L. So this will try to fetch the available Linux distributions installed already in our WSL, which we don't have any because we were just starting with empty. So it's recommending us to run the command list and online to find any available installable distributions, and after that we can write the command install and then the name of the distribution we picked. So let's run the command wsl-list-online, and it should bring you some Linux distributions that you can install and get started with. So I'm going to pick Ubuntu 24.04. I suggest you guys do the same. So we can type in the command WSL and then --install, then the name of the distribution Ubuntu 24.04. Make sure you type this right. So now we wait for it to finish downloading and installing, and then we can get back to our work. Cool. Now that our distribution has been successfully installed, we can close out of this PowerShell and search for Ubuntu in our applications. So as you guys can see, we've already installed 24.04. We have that installed, and we'll click and open a new terminal. So since this is our first time opening this terminal, it will ask us user information for our username and password. So type in the username you want to use for this Windows subsystem for Linux and type in the password. And make sure you type in a password that you'll remember because you'll be using this password a lot. And that's it. We're done setting up WSL. So the next step would be to set up and install certain dependencies and packages to get started with the installation of MeTTa. So before we do anything else, we run the command sudo apt install sudo apt update. So this will try to update our Linux distribution system, and type in the password that you just entered and hit enter. So it will try to update the system, and it should be done in about a minute. Cool, and now we need to make sure that we have Python installed. So let's check for Python version. Cool. So we have Python version 3.12 already installed. So we need to install virtual environment, which is another Python package we need. For that, we need to make sure that this repository is added into our Linux system. So we just paste this command here and hit enter. And wait for it to finish. And hit enter to proceed. And this should be done in about a minute. Cool. Now we need to install the Python package for virtual environment. So we can type in sudo apt install So we're installing a package called venv, or virtual environment for a Python version 3.12. So we need to make sure the package name matches this format before we hit enter. And it's asking us whether we want to continue or not, so hit enter to proceed. And wait for it to install our package. Cool. Now that we have everything we need, we can start creating our virtual environment. So to install MeTTa, we need to create a virtual environment, but before that, we need to have a certain folder we want to work in. For example, right now, if I type ls, which is the command in Linux to list for the available folders and files in our current folder, it will bring us nothing because there is no file and there is no directory. So we need to create one directory using the command mkdir and type in our directory name, which I'm going to type in as MeTTa project. You can type in any directory name you want. Now, if you type in the same command ls, we should see the MeTTa project folder available. So now we can either move into it or create the Python environment first. So let's create the Python environment first using the command python3 -m venv, and then the destination directory, which is the directory we just created. And hit enter and wait for it to finish. Cool. Now, if we move into the directory by using the command cd, we should be able to see some of the files that the script we just ran created. So if we type in ls, we'll see certain directories and files and configuration files over here. So if we move into the bin directory, we should see a different set of scripts, and we want the script named activate. So we can activate our virtual environment using that script. And you know that your virtual environment is activated when you see most of the time, the folder names in a bracket. So make sure you have activated your virtual environment. So let's move back into the previous folder using the .dot command, which is used to refer the previous folder. And let's do that again. And we can do whatever we want from here. So you don't have to type in the source activate by moving into the directory first. You can just type in using the command source and giving it the entire path or the location of that activate script. You just need to know where this activate script is located. So if you do the same, this should work. So to deactivate your virtual environment, you can use the command deactivate, and that bracketing will just disappear. So now what we need to do is reactivate our virtual environment again. and install the MeTTa package. So to install the MeTTa package, we're going to run the command pip install hyperon equals to or del equals to 0.2.2. So we are installing the MeTTa version 0.2.2. So the MeTTa programming language is accessed through the hyperon package. So we need to install the hyperon package first. So after this, we can run the command MeTTa version, and we can see that we have our MeTTa version installed already. So whenever we want to run a MeTTa script or a MeTTa command, make sure you have activated your virtual environment, the virtual environment that you have created when you install the package. So if I deactivate this and try to run the same command, MeTTa version, it should show an error because there is no virtual environment activated, so we didn't install our MeTTa package globally. So in order to access our MeTTa script, we need to reactivate our virtual environment like so. So make sure your virtual environment is activated before you try to run any MeTTa project or MeTTa program. Okay, so that's it for majority of the setup. Now we can open this directory MeTTa project in VS Code by typing in the command code followed by the directory. And now here you can see the list of files we created within that directory using the virtual environment creating command. So we can open our integrated terminal, and we need to change that to the WSL option. Okay, it's suggesting us to install an extension. So either you can go through this suggestion, or you can just type in the extensions the WSL. So make sure to install this extension. It should help with most of the integrated terminal stuff. And let's try creating a MeTTa file to see if everything else is working as it's expected. So let's write the classic hello world command in MeTTa. And it's saying command not found because remember we have to activate our virtual environment before running any MeTTa command. So let's do that and try the same command again, and it should work. Hello world, our first program in MeTTa. So right now you can see that all of our code looks like white and plain. So if you want some syntax highlighting, you can search for some extension called MeTTa and install the one with 101 stars. So if we open the same file again, now we should have some sort of syntax highlighting, which looks a lot more easier to see. So that's it. This is how you can set up and install MeTTa and run your first program. So see you in the next video. Bye.